Welcome back to the Russell Brothers podcast. Keith.
I'm Keith.
Rudy.
This week, there wasn't too much going on in the news.
No, not
we
really.
did get to watch John Cena rip apart
Destroy
Roman Reigns in a promo.
I like that. I like when they do segments like that, where they can just shoot from the hip. I mean, granted,
And
the
Cena's
whole
like,
thing was
fourth
scripted.
wall, oh no.
That whole thing was scripted, though.
Except
Yeah.
the one moment Reigns actually cut like a decent promo. Cena just comes back and just...
See, that's the thing. Cena's really good at that.
Yeah.
That's one of Cena's best things. I mean, it was great. The best moment was when Roman Reigns forgot his line, and Cena goes, "It's called a promo, big
my
dog.
God.
If you're gonna be the big dog, you gotta cut one." I was like...
Oh,
It was
Cena.
great.
Great. I love the whole segment. Now, the real question is, who does Vince protect more in that match?
Roman Reigns.
I don't know. He just let Cena eviscerate him. That wasn't even close.
Yeah, but he'll let him eviscerate him with the promo, and then just have Roman Reigns just destroy him in the ring.
Yeah. No, I think it would be a decent match if
Yeah.
they let him go back and forth. I think it would be a good match between the two of them. But
Okay, well, the meat of our episode today is our top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time.
yep, this is going to be exciting.
Yep.
Interesting.
I mean, we kind of know some of ours, but no, it's going to be
Yeah,
interesting to see a full top 5 of who we think are our favorites.
This was a lot harder to do than I thought it would be.
It's a lot harder than top 5 right now.
Yeah.
A lot harder.
Yeah.
Because you had to think of all these guys, and you're like, oh man, I really love that guy, and oh man, I love him too. And
Like, I'm half waiting for one of you to say a name and be like, shit,
I forgot about
I
him.
completely forgot about him. He's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Well, it's more or less who you liked growing up.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of who we liked.
It could even be someone now too. I mean, there could be someone who sits there and you're like, he's one of my favorites.
Your list,
Hands down,
your list
but-
is going to be full of indie, isn't it?
No. I have a bunch of WWE guys.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We were talking about this, like,
Were
is
you?
Keith going to have a bunch
He's
of...
No, no,
going
no.
to throw out a whole bunch of like indie guys.
No. No. WWE guys, I promise.
Okay. Well, how should we start? Same way as last time? Rudy?
I went first last time.
Yeah,
right?
are you prepared this time?
I am prepared this
Okay.
time. All right, well, my number 5 is actually... I'm kind of cheating. It's 2 guys won this one, because I can't decide between the 2. But they've had great rivalries together. They work together really well. They were in WCW. They were in ECW. Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero.
I like
Okay,
that.
putting two
I like that.
Spanish people together. Kind of racist. I thought we got over that. But
He's racist.
that's okay.
Don't listen to him. Sick of your shit. Shut up and listen.
Yeah, but I could definitely agree. Watching
Yeah.
them,
They always put on a great match
Both
and great
great.
chemistry.
I watched WCW Monday Nitro over Raw during the Attitude Era. Now, I watched a little bit of Attitude Era. I migrated towards it, but Rey Mysterio was probably the main draw for WCW for me.
The whole cruiserweight.
The whole yeah, because
Yeah.
there was less storyline. It was more just
And they
it-
put on the best matches.
yeah. And Eddie Guerrero was one of them. And then when they came over to WWE, I was excited. Ray put the mask back on. I was confused. He jacked up, but he still put on another good match. He put on a
Yeah.
great rivalry with Eddie Guerrero. Stupid storyline with him, but they put out good matches as a
did.
result.
they did.
And Eddie, again, one of the best rivalries he had. And he had some of the great rivalries with other people besides Rey Mysterio, And, when he died, that was a heartbreaking day
That
for
was a
me.
very sad
I was
day.
very sad that day.
But, yeah, so it was hard for me to decide. So when it came to number 5, I had to put Rey Mysterio or Eddie Guerrero. Either or. I just really love both those guys.
Okay.
That's funny because Eddie Guerrero is actually my number 5 as well. Because as a kid growing up, he could do it all. He could technical wrestle. He could high fly. He could be a luchador. He could be a great heel. He could be a great baby face. I loved his segment when him and Chavo were a tag team.
Oh, Lie, Cheat, and Steal.
Yeah, the lie, cheat, and steal segments. Those were great. Went and stole Kurt Angle's gold medals. And everything. They stole a bunch of stuff. They went to a rich white neighborhood and stole golf clubs from them all. It was hilarious.
It is.
It was just great. But yeah, Eddie Guerrero is my number 5.
For me, it's the guy who got watching wrestling for the first time.
Raffle Brothers?
Raffle Brothers. Ultimo Dragon.
Fair.
Just growing up as a really young, watching him on TV, the Japanese man who is trained as a luchador. Just everything he did. He was the big high flyer of his time. A lot of the technical moves. He was quick, fast.
Yeah.
Just everything he did.
I'm really upset WWE never put him and Mysterio in a match.
That would have been a great match.
I would have loved that as a kid because I liked Ultimo Dragon. When SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, that video game was out, I always played as Ultimo Dragon.
At every game, Ultimo Dragon was there. He was my character.
At WCW NWO Thunder on PlayStation, and Ultimo Dragon was in that. And when you go on, there's the wrestler select screen. You can press the select button, and it'll put up a mini promo of like the actual wrestler, like talking, like pre-recorded of like, if you pick me, you'll never lose a match again. So I'm like, oh, Ultimo Dragon. I want to hear him talking. Did not understand a word he said. It's all in Japanese.
Konnichiwa.
He was yelling, just. I'm like, I'm gonna pick this guy.
I don't know what you say.
Godzilla!
Hello.
Okay, moving on to our number 4s.
All right. Well, my number 4 is. You guys might not agree with this one either, but
James Ellsworth.
it's not James Ellsworth.
You don't say no.
It's the great one, The Rock.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. I like The Rock.
Yeah, I don't know why we'd have a problem with that. Really.
Because
was a
I
Rock
don't know,
fan.
because it's me saying the guy I like. Yeah.
No, it's only when you do like
Racist.
racist stuff.
I swear to God, I'm not racist. You guys are gonna make so many people come after me. Thank
Yeah,
God
all
we are
20
not
people.
that popular yet.
Yeah. All
Thank
10.
God.
And the people who watch like 5 times because they come together.
Now, when it came to The Rock was hands down the funniest wrestler ever.
Agreed. His promo work was...
His promo work was golden. His in-ring work could put on a great show. Great
Charisma.
matches. His charisma. He was a fast dude. He had a lot of stamina. You know what? I like The Rock Bottom. I thought it's not his finisher, but I liked it.
That's one of my favorite moves of all time.
It's just because
It's
sometimes
just fun to do.
it comes out.
It's so easy, but it's just like, yeah.
Well, also especially when he's laying there, and then someone the match with him and Cena at WrestleMania, their first match, one time only. But
And then we had it again.
and then he just does the kick flip up. He gets back up on stage, just grabs Cena, rock bottoms, 1, 2, 3. And one of my favorite matches in wrestling history was Hulk Hogan versus The Rock, WrestleMania 18
In Toronto.
in Toronto. That was a fucking amazing match. I watch it once in the blue moon just because, The Rock could just he knew how to just go forward with a rivalry. He had great setups.
He can work with anyone.
Yeah, he can work with anyone. And, his rivalry with Stone Cold, probably one of the best rivalries ever in the history of wrestling.
Him and Jericho together.
Him and Jericho. When Jericho first showed up on Raw, in that promo he was cutting with Jericho, The Rock could do it all. And he's, it was kind of hard to figure out where I was going to put him on the list, but no, he's number 4 for me. I love The Rock.
Okay.
My number 4 would be the rated R superstar Edge. I am a huge Edge head. He was great. I loved him in the tag team with Christian. I loved his rivalry with Matt Hardy. Him and Cena against each other was great. Him and The Undertaker together was great. He could do no wrong.
He could properly do a spear, Roman Reigns.
Yeah, maybe he should take some notes. He could have even taken notes from Goldberg when he was there for 4 months, but no.
Anybody?
Besides the point. Yeah, seriously. No, but I was a huge Edge fan. I just thought he was great. His gimmick was cool. The Radar Superstar gimmick I thought was awesome. Being the first Money in the Bank guy to cash in and win a title, I thought he was so deserving of that title when he got it. Injuries cut his career a little short. I was a little upset by that. When he finally retired, I got a little upset. I was a little sad. But, no, I'm a big Edge fan, and Edge is in my top 5.
One of the best heels, too.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. It's really hard to argue that.
Okay, for me, when super kicking was cool, with the sweet chin music, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
I feel like he'd be
That's a
on
good one.
almost everyone's top 5.
He would. Yeah.
But he's that type of guy. He's just a great...
one of the greatest of all time.
He is. He really is. He's a great athletic performer. He could put on any type of match. I mean, that match with him and Undertaker, the first time they faced each other at Mania, my one friend risked kidney stones because he was holding in a piss for that whole match, and he sat there. He's like, "Oh my god, end the match already!"
I would have just went on the floor or a bottle.
He was at my house. I would have sweet chin musicked him in the face.
No, you would have, because you would be too distracted watching the match.
After the match,
Okay.
I would have kicked him in the
But
face.
he would have got to watch it.
Yeah. I
Okay.
would have let him finish and then let him.
Yeah, the Shawn Michaels, everything he's done when he was in Degeneration X and all that, great work.
It is.
When
Sparked the whole generation of wrestling fans, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. For my number 3, this guy dates back to WCW. Unstoppable Force. Made his way into WWE eventually. Goldberg. As a kid, seeing this guy just destroy everything, everyone, I was just like, I like that guy. And I don't know what it was. I really don't. He didn't have like a lot of moves, but he had a devastating spear.
he was just
Jackhammer.
The jackhammer.
a monster.
You know what? I became a fan of Goldberg the second I saw him pick up Big Show, but the Giant at the time, with the jackhammer, and hold him there for like 4 seconds.
Yeah,
before
4 or
he
5
dropped
seconds.
him down.
Yeah.
I was just like,
That was impressive.
this
You're
guy.
a truck.
This guy's not a
much.
human.
Yeah.
I don't know. He just had this like this I don't know, like aura persona to him, where he didn't really cut promos, and that's one of the
didn't
things I
need to.
liked him.
Yeah.
He didn't say a word. Kind of like, you know what Aleister Black does now.
All he
It's not
said
a
was, "You're
best.
next."
Yeah, you're next.
Perfect. That's all he needed
Feed
to
me
say.
more.
No, that was see, Ryback's actually a failed clone of Goldberg.
He's
They don't
an
tell you
extremely
that.
failed clone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was a
Super
failed
bad.
experiment.
Very bad.
He couldn't do anything.
We don't like Ryback.
He's probably like right below Roman Reigns, maybe right above Roman Reigns.
Below. Below.
But
Because he complains how every wrestler should get paid the same.
yeah, but
And bitches about stupid shit. He's like, you didn't do anything worthwhile.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the one Monday Nitro was Goldberg versus Hogan. Goldberg was already United States champion and
You and
beat Hogan. What did you say?
You and
Hogan.
Hogan's the second one in a row.
Second
This
time
Hogan
you sat there
match.
with something with a Hogan match.
Again with Hogan, I know, but no, Hogan put on good
It's
matches
Rita's
too.
number 1.
Hogan,
no, it's not.
No, Hogan not put on good match.
But I just remember him beating Hogan for the world title, and the arena. There was a huge amount of people who were like going ape shit that
And then
Goldberg was
shocked.
champ. But then there was people because at that age,
Maniacs.
no, it was just people who loved NWO and Hulk
Yeah.
and were Hulkamaniacs who
It
loved
was
NWO.
cool when it first was around.
There was just trash and empty soda bottles and things just flying in the ring. The moment Hogan went up for the jackhammer, everyone knew like
This is it.
this is it. So they just started throwing shit in the ring, and Goldberg became the world champion and the United States champion. And then from that point on, I was just like, I'm a Goldberg fan. Coming into WWE, spearing The Rock is his first rivalry,
See, that was cool.
and everyone loved that because they hated The Rock because he went Hollywood.
That was a good heel segment from The Rock.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, Goldberg. I don't know. He was just unstoppable force. He was the blueprint for who would have become later on down the line. You know.
He's pretty much the ideal, perfect thing for Vince.
Every night.
Vince McMahon loves big, sweaty men.
At
heard
least
it here.
Goldberg is likable.
He is.
He is.
So he's
Because
got
he
that
doesn't
big
do
juice
anything.
smile.
He's got that. Oh yeah, yeah. Ridicule me for being racist and all this shit.
That's not racist.
I'm sorry, Walt. I'm sorry, Walt Disney. Go freeze yourself.
And I complimented him.
Move on. Move on.
Oh boy. All right. My number 3 could get some criticism, but I have to say it because as a kid he was my favorite, even with what he did. Chris Benoit.
Okay.
I
Absolutely.
loved Chris Benoit as a wrestler, and yes, what he did was tragic, and yes, what he did was a big deal, and in no way am I condoning it. But
It's hard to ignore
his
someone.
in-ring work was perfect.
It's hard to ignore
He
what
could-
he's
he
done.
was
He
so
can be argued
technical
as
in
one of
the
the
ring.
top 5
If he
best
didn't do what he
wrestlers.
did, he would have been a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Instantly. If he didn't do what he did, we would still be talking about him today. most of the movesets people do are after him. The crossface. How are you going to sit there and say that's not a Chris Benoit move? You know, how many renditions of the crossface do we have now? The yes lock, the bank statement, all that shit. It's a crossface. They're following Chris Benoit. How many Canadian people do it? Owens, Sammy, all of them in Canada. Whenever they wrestle in Canada, one crossface gets put on. That's a silent ode to Chris Benoit. It's like the sharpshooter.
Yeah.
It's the same as the sharpshooter. Bret Hart.
I think what killed me most about Benoit's death was, even though when it was like out in the open what he did, when they found that out and like revealed it, I think I was still sad, and like where a lot of people were like, "Oh, what he did was fucked up and stuff. How could you cry?" Because I know he's never going to be in the Hall of Fame. It's tragic what he did, because it hurts me that someone this good threw his life away like that.
But
they examined him afterwards, and
his brain was scrambled.
His brain was scrambled. His heart was 3 times the size of a normal heart.
Because he had steroids, and the one doctor who was prescribing him apparent pain meds and stuff like that was giving him steroids, and he didn't know it.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not condoning Chris Benoit and what he did. It was definitely wrong, and as sad as it is,
no matter what state of mind you are in.
Yeah, it's just unacceptable. And as much as it hurts knowing he's not going to be in the Hall of Fame, I think it's the right move to not do that.
Oh, yeah.
Also, keep in mind, too, what really messed him up, too, was Eddie's death.
Well, that, too.
That was a downward spiral.
That was his best friend. That was like his road partner.
That was his brother.
Yeah, pretty much. Him, Ray, Eddie Ray, and Benoit, and Jericho were all best friends. Like, even Jericho now, they did interviews afterwards or whatever about it, and Jericho would rip people who are bad-mouthing Benoit. And, like, saying, like, well, this is probably... It's like, no, it's not because we're wrestlers. It's because we had shit go on, and we had a shitty doctor who gave him shit things. Benoit as a person was a really good person, and he fucked up. Plain and simple. But he's not a terrible person. They were like, Benoit did nothing shitty in his life besides this.
Yeah.
He was, like, one of those people you could count on in the locker room. And one of the people you can count on as a best friend. And it sucks knowing that Benoit cannot be in the Hall of Fame because of what he did. As much as I agree with them not putting him in. But his in-ring work was amazing. Maybe one of the best United States champions ever. When he won the world title, I was so happy.
Yeah, me too.
Because
Eddie in the ring with him.
Eddie in the ring. That was a great moment to end WrestleMania. Eddie retained, and Benoit won his first world title. They're both in the ring together celebrating. You cannot ask for more. Confetti come down and everything. It was perfect. It was like Daniel Bryan winning the world title.
Yeah.
Same exact way.
WrestleMania 20 was like one of the best WrestleManias.
It was. It was a really good WrestleMania.
Okay, on to my number 3. We were just talking about him a little bit. Chris Jericho.
Break the walls down.
Fair.
He made my good list.
He just did a book signing actually yesterday.
Yeah. Had to work,
He did.
not make it. But
Yeah.
people can't argue against Chris Jericho and
No,
everything
you
he's
can't.
done throughout his career. He
can't.
doesn't make bad music either.
He's held every single title except for the Universal.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's done it all. Like
Just that short of being the grand champion for winning every title at one point.
Every title in WWE.
I mean,
That's the only one
everyone.
he hasn't held is Universal. And he just won the U.S. title this past year. So he finally got that off his bucket list. He didn't have that for his whole time.
Universal probably won't happen. But
I think he
I
held.
think it's almost as much of a tragedy of him not winning the Royal Rumble.
yeah.
He should have won the Royal Rumble at some point.
You know, and it's been said though, and it can't be argued, but without a doubt, like I've heard people say, he is the best.
Yeah. He is the GOAT.
25 years, he has made himself relevant and has kept himself in a relevant form in wrestling.
He still looks the same.
I know. He hasn't really lost a step. Like, yeah, he's not as athletic as he was back when he was like in his 20s or whatever.
But he's still
he can
pretty damn athletic.
He can still do a lion salt.
Yeah.
He can still do a lion salt. He can still perform. He still does high flying cross bodies and top rope moves.
And what wrestling fan has never put the walls of Jericho on a sibling or a friend?
I've had it done to me and it hurts.
Or vice versa. Get it done to you.
Both. I had older cousins who did to me, and I did to my friends as payback.
See? Everyone has done it at some point in their life.
Exactly.
I knew it was like to be a scorpion for a few minutes.
Yeah, did you do the real Walls of Jericho or did you do the Boston Crab? You did the Lion Tamer Walls. See, that was one.
Lion Tamer.
That was more fun.
Yeah, it is. 'Cause it hurts.
I had it done to me.
That was like,
I had it done to me when he was still in WCW, and it was still called the Lion Tamer. And it hurt like a motherfucker. I'm like, I'm tapping.
Oh, yeah.
I'm tapping.
Oh,
and I knew what it was like to be a
Friends aren't
scorpion.
gonna let go.
you're tapping, bitch.
Okay. Your number 2, Rudy?
What?
What? Number 2.
The Undertaker.
Okay.
It's pretty straightforward. I
Yeah.
mean, The Undertaker, man.
What can't you say about The Undertaker? There's really not much you can
Especially
say.
when
He lost to Roman.
you
That
know
was
what?
his last match. He had a broken hip, pretty much. Or
Fuck
just-
you, Roman Reigns. But when you're a kid, he's like the greatest thing ever. When he shows up and he's got the dead man look. Back in the day, we had the torn sleeves and like the tie and
You
like
paid attention.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He drew
When
everyone.
you heard his music drop, no matter what you were doing, it was just glued.
Paul Bear
Even just watching him walk to the ring for
Yeah.
20 minutes.
and long
That's a short ring. Short walk to the ring at that point. 20 minutes? Oof.
I know.
I mean, when they came to, I think it was like WrestleMania 6 or 7. It was the one where he was facing, I think, Giant Gonzalez, and he came out on like one of those.
They all came out on one of the, oh, he came out on a chariot. Almost
Chariot,
like the
with
Pale Horse
the
Apocalypse
vulture
kind of thing.
on
Yeah.
his like right next to him. That wasn't
Yeah.
on his shoulder. It was like on a
He was
stand.
on a stand that he was holding while
Yeah.
he was going. Yeah.
But you know, I thought that was one of the coolest entrances
That was
ever.
pretty cool. I did enjoy that when I saw it. Well,
And then you got the Tombstone Pile Driver. Probably my number one favorite finisher ever because it's a pile driver that
Into
he's
a pit.
but he's literally crossing your arms like he's burying you. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And you know, when you're a kid and you're convinced that wrestling's real when you're younger, you know, no matter what. I was
that's
creeped.
real. That's real. And all of a sudden you figure out it's fake.
Yeah,
It's
well,
still cool.
yeah, well, the day I found out,
Wrestling's fake?
it's still real to me, damn it!
It's not fake.
Still real to
Spoiler
me,
alert.
damn it! No, but the day I found out wrestling's fake was like finding out that Santa Claus is fake. You're just like, no, it can't be.
What are you talking about? I rate Santa every year. He rates me back, bro.
There's something I need to tell you when this podcast is
Spoiler
over.
alert.
Rudy's coming out the closet.
Hi. Fuck you.
Yeah, the Undertaker.
I was convinced that this guy was a fucking walking zombie when he would roll his eyes up and
Definitely growing up, you're
control the
definitely
crowd.
like, this guy's not human.
Nah.
But again, you know, in his prime, because nowadays not so much. In his prime, he put on amazing matches. He was another one that when he had a rivalry with somebody, it was one of those ones you were just like, this is really fucking good.
I'm ready to watch.
You know, and I think one of his best rivalries ever was with my number one, and I'll get to that. But The Undertaker.
My number 2. I have to put my mic down for this one. Rob Van Dam.
Oh, this is same one.
Yes! I loved Rob Van Dam. He's the man.
This is easy for both of us. Now that
Yeah.
you think about it.
Yeah. Because I sat there, and with Rob Van Dam,
RVD.
he was able to perform. He did so many things where you sat there and you're like, the human body's not supposed to do that. But he still performed it. He made it look easy.
Yeah.
All of his kicks were great. His move set was great. It was easy. Well, not easy, but like for him, it looked easy. He was like a more trained, more composed Jeff Hardy. And I've seen that argument with people. Is like, why did Jeff get over more than Rob Van Dam? Because Jeff threw caution to the wind, and he had all the face paint and the glowing paint and all that stuff. And
But in-ring RVD
in
was
ring,
way better.
RVD is so much better working than Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy looks like a guy who's just throwing himself somewhere.
Yeah.
And he's gotten better.
that's
over
what
time.
people like
But Jeff's
to
gotten
watch.
better over time. But no, people love RVD
Yeah.
too.
But in your life-
But it's more WWE never put RVD on a platform like they ever did Jeff Hardy. It's because Rob Van Dam's more laid back, more I'm just here to chill. I'm just here to, do some work, get paid, do that stuff. Jeff Hardy was kind of like that kid dream because he wrestled on Raw. He was like, 16 or something like that. So Jeff Hardy has always been a wrestling fan. RVD was just like, yeah, I like this. This is fun to do or whatever, So.
And people really thought he was Jean-Claude Van Damme's brother because they looked like each other.
That
That's
is
why he's
very
called,
true.
and that's why he's called Rob Van Dam.
Yeah, that is true. Plus, it's so much fun to either go to a show or sit at home on TV. Like, even when I was at home watching on TV and RVD came out, I still did the Rob Van Dam in my house because it's just fun.
He's someone who needs to be at the 30th anniversary of the Royal Rumble.
It's in Philly. I hope he is. I will lose my shit if Rob Van Dam comes out.
I will straight up poo in my seat.
They better not screw up this Royal Rumble, considering it's in Philly.
And it's the 30th anniversary. It's a big Royal Rumble.
No Roman Reigns, please.
They need. By then, they might actually give him the title just so he's not in it.
Get the hell out of here, please. What you were saying?
No, I love Rob Van Dam. If he's there, I'm going to lose my shit. And to go to the point of you crapping your pants if he comes out, you may crap your pants anyway just because you're a poop machine.
That is also true.
It's okay.
But a little bit extra will come out in excitement.
Uncontrollable.
So I guess some honorable mentions.
Okay.
I'll start because we kind of skipped me because I had the RVD. For me, I actually switched my list mid thing. I originally had Macho Man, Randy Savage as my number 3, and I'm like, fuck, I love Chris Jericho.
See, I would have put Macho Man's one of my honorable mentions.
Yeah,
also,
Macho Man
because
also.
As a kid, I would definitely see stuff, and I grew up with my cousin. He was a huge Macho Man fan.
Only reason I ever bought a Slim Jim.
Oh yeah, Slim Jim. New excitement. Stop into a Slim Jim. Oh yeah.
Exactly. Nah, but he was cool. I liked him more than Hogan.
Oh,
More
absolutely.
than I watched
Yeah.
stuff back then. Randy Savage was 10 times better wrestler than Hulk Hogan.
I mean, did I tell you what me and Phil and Nick did when Macho Man died? Phil came
You
over.
just Slim Jim?
Phil came
Lots of
over.
Slim Jims.
Yes.
Drank a lot of beer. And
You were
watched
there
his
too,
matches.
right?
I was not there.
Oh, fuck, I remember. No, you
I
were.
was
You were
working.
working. Phil brought over this giant poster of Macho Man and put it on my bed. We had this shrine set up with beer and a fuckload of Slim Jims, and we just did a video tribute to him with his theme song playing,
Candles lit, trying to resurrect him.
trying to resurrect him from the
Pomp and
dead.
circumstances.
Oh!
It just comes out.
But knowing you guys, you probably would have fucked up because you were drunk, and he'd be like, a mangled ball.
Not yet. That's a fit.
Slim into a snap.
All right, I'm sorry, Macho Man.
Brother.
Thought-
Come out talking like Hogan. Damn it!
Okay, Rudy?
Summon James
Some honorable
Ellsworth
mentions for
instead.
you.
Diamond Dallas Page.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The original.
DDP was the original guy with the RKO. He created the RKO. That was his thing.
Diamond Cutter.
RKO.
The Diamond Cutter.
His Diamond Cutter was sweet.
But
I love that move.
it wasn't so much that, his promo work was pretty good. It wasn't like, something that
It got the job done.
they got the job
And it
Definitely
worked.
guy you wanted to watch when he was on.
No, but what I loved most about him was after his wrestling, when he would help people. And what he
With
did.
DDP Yoga.
Yep, and what he did for Scott Hall, who was another one of my honorable mentions.
Jake Snake.
Jake the Snake.
That's one of my honorable mentions, too. I love Jake
He was just a great human being.
A very good, genuine person, and I have all the respect in the world for Diamond Dallas Page. I was so happy when he got inducted into the Hall of
Yeah.
Fame.
I'm a little upset that they didn't do anything with him in WWE. That was the big thing. They just put him in that weird ass
Where he was a stalker for Undertaker's wife,
Undertaker.
his
So,
ex-wife that he's
that
not
really-
with anymore, and he removed the tattoo from his neck.
Yeah.
But one of my only disappointments at the Hall of Fame was they didn't play his WCW theme, but that's only because it sounded too much like "Smells Like Teen Spirit" by
Yeah.
Nirvana, because that's all WCW themes were just botched versions of actual songs.
It was. You're
But
right.
DDP is another honorable mention.
Okay. Keep.
Me, well, it was named on one of your guys' lists, but Chris Jericho, that's another one I would have put on there. He's up
Yeah,
there.
definitely.
Trying to think. There was one more person I sat there. I was like, this person needs to be talking.
I have one more though.
I got one.
Yeah.
I'll skip over your for now, Keith.
Yeah.
Some women we have to recognize.
Yeah. That's
Trish
nice.
Stratus and Lita for me.
Yeah,
growing
Trish
up.
that's what I was
Stratus.
going to say.
Trish
and Lita.
Stratus. Trish Stratus.
I
man.
agree.
It was so hard. I wanted to put them up, both on my list, but I'm like, I don't know if I can. There's so many other names.
There is.
But I mean,
no, but if you had
there
to
wouldn't
put,
be
like,
women's
woman-
wrestling without those two.
Well, I mean,
There would be, but
there's Fabulous Moolah and all
Yeah.
that, but we weren't around for them or Mae Young. But
I'm old, but not
for
that old.
yeah, ARP is gonna send you a little something later.
Halfway there.
No, but you're right. Trish and Lita were the two
Still good.
women who would say got women's wrestling to be a bigger
Yeah.
name after a while, because the matches they put on were great. Trish was good looking, and obviously they used her sex appeal during the thing with that, but she could still perform.
Yeah, she wasn't just pretty. She was.
No,
she
she
was a
could
good
perform in the
performer.
ring as well. And then Lita was just a daredevil. Lita will do anything.
Yeah.
Moonsault, the bump she took off a ladder, a gore from Rhino.
My one last honorable mention though, and I want to put it in my top 5, and it was hard because, let's face it, everyone that we listed is all top 5.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
would put them on there, but I had this and stuff
But-
like that.
You can't deny Bret the Hitman Hart.
No.
No. I think he was a good wrestler. Very
He's
good.
always honored and everything.
Although, I love Bret, but I liked Owen more. I was more of an Owen Hart.
It was Owen.
kid.
Owen was.
It was a flip of a coin.
It is. No, don't get me wrong. Bret was a great wrestler, and I thought he did great work. I was just more a fan of Owen because he was more of like that, like kind of rowdy, like more of like the in your face kind of like I know I'm better than you. Bret was kind of like the laid back, like yeah I'm better than you kind of thing. And we know it. Owen was like up in your face and willing to prove it while doing so. He was like a more not more controlled, but in a sense more tamed version of Brian Pillman. And Brian Pillman was awesome.
But Bret and his brother also had great matches against
Oh, they
each
did.
other, and great rivalry.
Oh yeah.
You know, their steel cage match at the one SummerSlam where the Hart Foundation interfered on Owen's side,
Yeah.
and they pulled him out. But you know what, Bret Hart, man, he put on one of the best matches ever with Shawn Michaels
Yeah.
and Montreal Screwjob.
Well, not only that,
Awesome.
that hours, that 60-minute
Iron
Iron Man
Man
match
match.
that went to a draw, and then they had to wrestle another like 10. That's a lot of wrestling.
So I guess moving on to our number ones.
Yeah, we can go
I know
on.
Rudy's because we've been friends for a long time, and he's the one person who we watch. Why we watch wrestling so much. So,
Here-
Bremer,
here,
would you
you
like
did-
to go first,
yeah,
or
you wanna
you
do-
want to go us to go?
I'll go first, because in that way it kind of camaraderies with
Okay.
you two. My number one is someone you mentioned earlier, The Undertaker. Just because, not just for only his in-ring work as the Dead Man, but also like the American Badass
Badass.
was a great thing, and for how much he's done behind the scenes for wrestling. He's the one guy who got it and kept character.
Yes.
He never broke character, ever. Even when he was out in public. They hit him so much so that he wasn't seen in public, but when he wasn't his character anymore, like towards the end of his career, when he was kind of like, okay, I'm the Undertaker outside, but you know, I'm more of just a normal
I'm
guy.
still Mark Calloway.
He was still cool. He was cool as hell.
Yeah.
And he granted kids' wishes for Make-A-Wish, and you know, he met with fans. He was cool with the fans and all that stuff. You could see him in all these public places. UFC, he's always at UFC events or whatever. But no, he's just the man. You can't say enough about the Undertaker and how much he's done for this business. Like, you know, you're a great wrestler and a good person if Vince left a WrestleMania for you.
Yeah.
Because when he wrestled Brock, when Brock beat him and he went to the hospital, Vince told Steph and Triple H, he's like, I'm going with The Undertaker. He's really hurt. You guys are in charge. He left. He wasn't even there for the main event. He left the main event to
For
go
Undertaker.
be with The Undertaker. That says something. That says something.
Remember when they buried him alive at was the casket match, and he did the rebirth of the Undertaker, and he was like floating up, when he was fighting
I feel like every
Yokozuna.
Buried Alive match Taker lost, though.
No, he did lose every match, and it wasn't.
He lost all of them, and half of them were because of interference, too.
So I guess moving on to ours.
Yeah.
The Undertaker's brother.
I would have put him on there, too. I would have put him in the top 5.
Another example of a genuine human being who was amazing backstage. But let me say something. When Kane first showed up, now I'm a kid who's a fan of horror movies. I'm a dude who I love Friday the 13th.
I like fire.
Who doesn't like fire? So when Kane showed up, I got a very huge like Jason Voorhees vibe from him. Mask, doesn't say a word, unstoppable force, ripping that cage off. I'm like, who the hell is this? And it's Kane's brother, or Undertaker's brother. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, this guy is my favorite now. And he really became my favorite wrestler. And it's one of the reasons behind that too is he had one of the coolest looks, the ring attires I've ever seen on a fucking wrestler. I don't know what it was. It was just, I guess, the red and the black just went so well together.
Whenever you saw those flames go off when he was in the ring.
Oh my god! And then he had some of the best, like, come down to the ring when when a faction's jumping somebody and stuff, and he'll come out and like,
and everyone just goes, "Oh crap!"
Clean house.
Had the most Royal eliminations before Roman, right? Or does he still have that record?
Well, as far as real wrestlers go, he is still number 1.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
But even when he lost his mask, I was still a Kane fan.
Not only that, because he lost his mind when he lost the match.
Because he thought he was actually burned when he wasn't. It was all mental scars.
Yeah. Well, not only that, it was really cool because you put him in some of the tag teams. Even his comedy acts were cool.
Him and Rob Van Dam.
That was another thing I was going to say. Him and Rob Van Dam were
They were a great tag. They were tag team champions.
Yep. And when Rob Van Dam got him Hungry Hippos for Christmas. Excellent.
And Brothers of Destruction.
Another great tag team.
I don't think they've ever been beaten.
Tag team of all time.
I don't think they've ever been pinned or beaten.
No.
What would you like to say? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you've pretty much covered everything about why Kane is just my number 1.
How about when he was with X-Pac? And X-Pac turned on him, and then you're like, I want to see Kane beat the shit out of him. And he grabs Tori Wilson by the neck, and everyone's like, yeah. And he lets her go. And then
everyone's like, boo, boo,
and he
boo.
just flips her over and tombstones her. You're like, that bitch got what she deserved.
Just a monster.
No, Kane is another top guy.
And running for mayor in the town of Tennessee.
Yeah. Isaac Yankem.
Mary
Fake Diesel.
That too.
Yeah, well, that's our lists.
You know who I'm surprised none of us mentioned?
Mankind.
I mean, that's another one now that you mention it.
Mick Foley? Yeah.
Vader.
No.
John
Vader.
Cena.
Not Vader. No.
I like Vader.
I like Vader too, but not that much.
Hope he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame.
He will at one point. No, Stone Cold.
Actually,
That was the name I was drawing the blank on for honorable mention.
What?
Stone Cold's look, it's been a long day. I worked 13 hours yesterday. I worked and went to school today. I'm tired. I'm sorry. My brain is like scrambled eggs.
You know what though? To be fair though, I wasn't a Stone Cold guy in the Attitude Era.
I
liked him,
but so many people around him I liked more.
Like
I was just a
Like
Stone Cold fan
most
only
of my
because he was
list.
cool.
me and my cousin had bitter hatred for a while for each other because he was a Stone Cold fan, I was a Rock fan.
See, I like both of them though. I thought their work together was great. That rivalry between The Rock and Stone Cold was great, and the Stone Cold McMahon rivalry. Come on, that was awesome. You can't tell me you wouldn't want to be Stone Cold and your
Beat up your boss
is Vince, and you do all that shit.
Yeah, it would feel great to beat up my boss.
Charlie. They don't know who he is.
Yeah.
Only some people know who he is.
Yeah, Chris Jarrett watched it.
Really?
Yeah.
Chris, you didn't hear me.
We love all our bosses.
Yeah.
Rudy's like, what's a job?
Oh.
Yeah.
Rudy's his own boss.
Yeah.
So.
Takes care of animals.
Well, that's our list. That's some of our honorable mentions. We're sorry, Stone Cold.
I
We
thought
kind of
they were
forgot
some
about
good
you.
names. And I'm glad we had some ones where we kind of like...
And I don't know, as soon as we
together.
finish, we're going to sit there and be like,
How do we forget this guy? And this guy? And this guy?
Oh, yeah.
What are you looking at me for?
I don't know. Just looking at both of you.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Hope you enjoyed our lists. Let us know who your top 5 are.
If you don't agree, you can go screw yourself.
Yeah.
And list your favorites down below, and then we'll tell you
Yeah,
how wrong you are.
You'll be like, wow.
Sucks.
Roman Reigns,
Bleh.
Ryback,
James
John
Ellsworth.
Cena.
John Cena. I would be okay with putting
I'm
John
okay
Cena.
with
I'm okay with seeing that too.
Yeah.
He was in your top 5 now,
Yes.
so you can't hate him.
I know.
Not allowed.
I know I'm not.
Okay, well, enjoy the rest of your night
Yep.
or day or afternoon.
We love
Whenever
you.
you listen to this, have fun. We'll see you next week. If you have any topics you want us to talk about,
Yeah.
please write them in the comments.
You probably
Try and get
won't.
them on the next show. And if you do,
I'll probably
make
jump
Mark
on my
Bullock
account and write a comment, and then
good.
Like, favorite,
I'm still
subscribe.
waiting on a Rudy's wrestling rant video to be on our page.
I didn't think you'd be interested in that.
Every time we mention
we were
a
hyping you
possible
for the
one,
first
we were
3
hyping you for the
episodes.
first 3 episodes. to do
I was just
something.
gonna. I thought it was
Where you
gonna
just
be.
go on your own account, go on here, post a video, and you decide not
You
to.
have all the login.
Yeah. Come on. At least once a week, log on and do a Rudy's wrestling rant.
All right, coming soon.
If you don't do it, you're not on next week's episode.
Shut the hell up.
If you do it, maybe he'll be nicer to you.
Yeah, I won't pick
I
on
highly
you
doubt
once
that,
next
but
week.
I
maybe.
don't care if you pick on me.
I'll pink
I like the
swear.
attention. I don't have anybody.
I won't
dirty
pick
whore.
on you.
Thank you.
Then I won't pick on you next week.
I'm used to it. I've been picked on for 10 years. One day is not going to matter. I don't
Rudy,
care.
you've been picked on way longer than that.
So
Not wrong.
We all have.
Yeah, we all have.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
Good night.
That is why.